how's it going? So we are here with the Walrus Audio Meraki, the stereo analog delay. Just got this, and if you want to hear like the first 10 minutes of playing, there's another video that you can check out. You can also see here in the top right corner a fantastic little new Walrus tin that has fun little, come on, picks. It's their pick holder that you get when you buy stuff, which is really rad. Really cool, guys. And then my vintage one. I think I got that when I bought a Voyager way back in the day, like when it first came out. Always kept it. It's really fun. It holds a lot more. A lot more. Anyway, that's not why you're here. You were here for this. So we're going to kind of walk through it, and it's pretty simple, but it's powerful. It can do a lot. We've got 6 knobs and 4 switches, and that's it. Except we have 1, 2, 3 secondary functions. So I'll show you all of that and let you know how this works. Right now I'm going to just say the coolest thing that caught me off guard is the fact that this little halo behind that logo actually glows in accordance to the mod rate. Can't see it. I'll turn off my light. See it there? Let me turn that off. Cover that up a little bit with my finger. You can kind of see it. It's cool. All right, light back on. All right, now we're back in the light. Whew, okay, so let's go over these controls real quick. We have, it's dual, so we have stereo in and out. You can go mono to stereo or stereo to stereo. And I'm assuming you can also do stereo to mono, but really if you're getting this pedal, it's probably because you're going stereo. And so that's what it like shines at. So here are some of the controls that are shared by the left and the right channels. You have the mix right here, all the way to the left or anti-clockwise would be, that would be all dry. Yep, all the way clockwise would be all wet. And then somewhere around 2, 3 o'clock is kind of where they're 50-50. So that's shared. The time is shared. All the way to the clockwise is the longest delay there is. So anti-clockwise is short, clockwise is long. And yes, I'm an American saying anti-clockwise, and that's because my buddy Nick, man, you got me hooked on that, so I love it. Also, 2 other knobs that are shared between both are the modulation knob and the tone knob. Tone, of course, making it brighter, the repeats when you are all the way clockwise, and then darker when you're anti-clockwise, right? And then, so the modulation knob does 2 things. Right here, as it is the depth of the modulation. So you turn all the way clockwise, and you can hear that. You can really hear the waves, the warbles, all that fun modulation, or turn it all the way, pretty much all the way off. So the second function of the modulation knob is the rate, how fast that modulation goes, and you get there by holding down the bypass switch, and you can roll all the way anti-clockwise to make it slower, and keep your eye right here at that glowing halo. As you go clockwise, it gets faster. So all the way fast and all the way deep, it's pretty gnarly. Let's see, they have the mix all the way up. Time all the way down, see what we get. Wow. Funky town. Okay, so let's get that down a bit, and I'm going to make the rate actually lower there too. So back to bring the dry knob in. Actually, you know what? Let's go back to fully wet, and I'll tell you why. Since we're on modulation, have that modulation up pretty high, so you hear it. That is a square wave, I think, or a sine wave. The way that you can change it is by the division left knob. You hold down the switch here, bypass switch, it blinks, and you switch it all the way to the left for a sine wave. To the middle for square. And then to the right for random. So we're going to go to sine right now for this, just because it's my favorite. All right, while we're at secondary functions, let's jump over to the division right knob, and that's a phase switch. You hold that down, you can go all the way to 0 degrees phase. So in phase, that's got your classic modulation chorusy sounds. Then you can go to all the way to 180 degrees out of phase. And then in the middle at 90. All right. Okay, so those are the secondary functions. Why we jumped to that, I don't know. It's just what we did. Now let's talk about the feedback loops. You have two to choose from, the feedback left and the feedback right. So you can turn one all the way up and one all the way down if you really wanted to, and or vice versa. Let's not leave the right out. I tend to like them both kind of in the middle-ish to the high. All right, so then the feedback path. This is a pretty cool thing. So you can choose this to be parallel, which it is now, which means that both the left and the right delays are being affected by the dry signal together, and they are running on separate paths to have the delay, and then they're being spit out left and right. Okay, you have ping pong, where they literally bounce back and forth to each other. Let's turn the mod down a little bit. Bring the feedback up and you can hear it better. Nice little syncopation. Back to parallel to hear that. And if you're wondering why the timings are different on both sides, it's because of the division switches, which we haven't touched yet. We'll get there next. So you have parallel, you have ping pong, and you have series. And series is when one runs into the other. The manual would tell us which one is first, if it's the left or the right, and I don't remember to be honest right now, but that's okay. So on the division switches, the left and the right, you have quarter note, eighth note, and dotted eighth note. So right now they're both set to quarters. The feedback path is on parallel. Here's what we got. And then ping pong. And then series. So, if you switch to, you switch, dotted eighth, and parallel, you get the same thing, just at a dotted eighth. When these division switches are at the same place, meaning they're both either on quarter together, dotted eighth together, or eighth together, you're not going to get much variance. So, just to show you that again on the eighth, it's kind of there. So, let's get variance. All right, let's start with parallel. That is, as we've said, when the division switches are in the same place, you're not going to get much variance. So the fun begins when we actually change one of the divisions. So let's see, off the top of my head, with 3 on each side, what is that, 9 different permutations we can do? We don't need to do all 9. We'll get the idea here. So quarter here, eighth note, or dotted eighth, sorry. That's parallel. Now let's do it at ping pong. And then series. Sounds edgy. Really cool. So in series mode, you can really kind of get that syncopated kind of wash, and I like that a lot. All right, take it back to parallel, and let's do, let's do an eighth and a quarter. Okay, that's parallel. Ping pong it. Okay, and series. You can have all sorts of fun. Oh, hey. You can also use the feedback knobs here. Have a short feedback on one, longer on the other, and get some fun stuff going on. Ping pong. And parallel. Oh my. Fantastic stuff there. Okay, so we've covered the feedbacks, we've covered the modulation, the tone, the time, the mix, all of these knobs, and nope, we did not cover that yet, did we? All right, so this is the control switch to determine which of the channels, the left or the right, is when you change the modulation and tone knobs, which one or ones are being affected. So all the way to the left, we have sync, which means when it's switched there, you're actually on the mod and the tone, you're affecting both left and right. The middle is left, which is just the left, and the right is right, just the right. So for example, no, not tone, sorry, time. All right, so let's say here we're on, sync, so it's both. Let's change the time. All right, but let's say we want to just change the right one, make that time longer. What do we got there? Hear that? The left is still fast the way it was before. Alright, so now let's make the right one really warbly. A lot of mod. So you can control, let's say this one, we want the, some different things. You can do that too. So even when you change the tap rate, it maintains kind of that separation in the timing if you changed the left and rights separately. So obviously if you go to this, sync it up, and just move a little bit, they're kind of back to where they were. And that's in relation to where the division switches are. So, okay, we've gone through all of that. Is there anything else I've missed? Oh, yes, there is, because Walrus does so much. So, you have on your tap switch, it's also an oscillation switch. So, let's try this out. You've got, we'll bring that knob there, knob, tone, kind of in the middle, I suppose, mod. Yeah, let's kind of put there. So when you have it set up like this is kind of what you, here we'll ping pong it for fun. Alright, so when you hit this switch, it actually will basically turn these two knobs all the way up. So let's try that out. Or it just kind of keeps going. All right, let's try. So I like that because it's not going into massive feedback. It's just continuing. All right, so what does it sound like if we turn the knobs all the way up and don't do the oscillation switch? I can already hear it washing there, so it. Alright, same thing. It doesn't really take off. It's there though. So I'll leave that there. That is really the I was going to say the gist or in a nutshell of what the Meraki is in a 20-minute video. This thing is so jam-packed full of stuff. I didn't even show you that there's an there is a expression input that can control an expression, or it can be a tap. So if you wanted to throw in like, um, honestly, if you had like any of their other things, like a Juliana, which is their chorus, you could separate the taps. Connect this tap into that tap with a 1/4 inch, and this tap switch would control the Juliana and vice versa. Or you can use an expression pedal and change certain elements on the expression. But okay, guys, they also threw in MIDI, which is wild. So you have MIDI I/O there, 5-pin. So you can control a whole host of parameters via MIDI on this thing, which is great. If you like, if you let's see, if you wanted to use an expression pedal via MIDI and control several parameters at once, or create essentially presets in this thing that you can recall via a MIDI controller. Now, that doesn't mean that the presets are stored here. What I'm saying is, let's say, like, the M6, the M6C, it's a Morningstar, that controller. If you had that set up to where you hit certain switches and it sent full-on MIDI controls, MIDI signals, and MIDI commands, you could actually change all these parameters via MIDI commands. And if you could save those within the presets of the MIDI controller, you're essentially getting presets on that, although this is what you see is what you get on here, minus the fact that the modulation rate, the wave shape, and the phase switch is a secondary command. So that's it. That's the Meraki. I like it a lot. It's amazing. Good job, Walrus. It's fantastic as always. You guys rock. So thank you for being here, everybody. Like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think. Be good to yourselves and be good to each other. Peace.